I went to the concert alone. Not because I'm some fearless solo adventurer, but because my friend bailed last minute and I didn't want to waste the ticket. It was an outdoor venue downtown, nothing too crazy. Just loud music, overpriced beer, and that kind of sticky summer air that makes you feel like you're melting. I was standing near the left speaker tower, vibing on my own, when this guy slid up next to me. White tee, backwards hat, holding a tall boy. He looked like any other dude in the crowd. He leaned over, shouted, "This your favorite band?" I nodded. He grinned. Good taste. I didn't think anything of it. He was just being friendly. Concerts do that. Break down walls. Next thing I know, we're shouting lyrics together, trading sips from our drinks, laughing at the drunk guy falling into a bush near the porta potties. He told me his name was Ryan. Said he'd seen this band 4 times, but this was the best show yet. He was cool, normal, a little flirty but not pushy. So when he asked if I wanted to grab another drink after the Encore, I said maybe. Which in girl speak usually means, please don't murder me, but also, probably not. When the show ended and the crowd started dispersing, I peeled off, gave him a wave, said something vague like, "Good meeting you," and slipped into the throng. I didn't owe him anything. I figured that was that. Except, it wasn't. I ducked into a bathroom near the food trucks, texted my Uber ETA, and waited. 3 minutes. I stepped out and spotted him, maybe 30 feet away. Ryan, just standing, looking around like he was scanning the crowd. His eyes locked on me. I turned fast, blending into another group walking toward the exit. I didn't run, I didn't panic, I just moved. Took a different path to the rideshare lot. My heart was starting to pick up, but I told myself it was nothing. Coincidence. He probably wasn't even looking for me. Then I heard my name, clear, loud, too close. "Hey, where'd you go?" I kept walking, faster. My phone buzzed. My Uber had arrived. I spotted the car, a white Toyota Corolla with hazard lights blinking. Relief washed over me. I power walked straight to the passenger side, and the door opened before I even touched the handle. Ryan slid in first, into the back seat. He turned and smiled like we were on a date. "You didn't think I'd let you go alone, did you?" My body froze. I looked at the driver, some tired-looking guy in his 50s with earbuds in. He barely glanced at me. I faked a smile, climbed in, and shut the door. The second it clicked shut, I wanted to scream. I texted my best friend, SOS. This guy followed me. He's in my Uber. Then I dropped a pin. Ryan leaned forward between the seats. "Can you take us to Spring Hill Suites off Maple?" I jumped in. "Actually, no. We're going to 22nd and Grant. It's my stop." He smiled. That same smile from the concert. "Oh, right. I forgot." The driver nodded and started driving. Inside, I was losing it. My hands were shaking in my lap, my brain flipping through every scenario. If I told the driver, would he help? Would Ryan flip? Should I jump out at a light? What if the doors were child-locked? I looked out the window and started mapping the route in my head. We were 10 minutes out, maybe less. Ryan was too close. His leg brushed mine like he wanted to remind me he was there. "So, want to come to my hotel?" I laughed nervously. "I'm good, thanks." He tilted his head. "You sure? You were pretty into me earlier." "I just wanted to enjoy the show." He stared at me. "So that was fake?" I didn't respond. He leaned in, voice low. "You shouldn't play with people like that." My stomach dropped. We turned onto 22nd. I faked excitement. "Okay, this is me." He didn't move. I tapped the driver's shoulder. "Can you pull up right here? I'll get out." The driver slowed to a stop. I reached for the handle, locked. "Wait," Ryan said. My voice cracked. "Let me out." The driver looked confused. "Aren't you two?" "No. I don't know him." That snapped something. The driver blinked, hit the unlock button. I shoved the door open and tumbled out, backpack half on, adrenaline spiking so hard I almost puked. Ryan tried to follow, but the driver yelled, "Hey, stay in the car!" I slammed the door shut and backed away, phone in hand, ready to run. The driver peeled off with Ryan still in the back. I stood there, shaking on a random street corner, waiting until the red taillights disappeared. I didn't go home that night. I walked to a diner 2 blocks away and sat there for 2 hours. Texted my friend. Called a different ride. Took the long way back, double-locked everything. But that wasn't the end. The next day I got a message on Instagram. I found you. It was from a new account. No profile picture. 0 followers. But the username? Some weird variation of mine. Like he knew my handle and tried copying it. Then came another. Don't be like this. Then, you led me on. I blocked the account, made everything private, deleted the post I'd tagged from the concert. But he kept finding me. New accounts, same language. Let me explain. You owe me a conversation. You made me feel something. I moved apartments a month later, changed numbers, started checking under my car before driving. Told myself he'd get bored. But every so often I still get a DM from an account with no followers. Or a text from a random number that says, "Miss me?" I never reply, because now I know better. Sometimes the scariest people aren't the ones who chase you. They're the ones who think you belong to them. I don't even know why I took it. It was one of those dumb, impulsive things you do in the moment and don't think twice about, until later, when your brain replays it over and over, screaming at you. We were outside the venue, just me and 2 friends, hyped for the show. General admission, standing room only, and the line was already wrapped around the block. People were selling shirts, stickers, knockoff hoodies. Normal pre-concert chaos. That's when the guy approached me. He looked young, hoodie, beanie, friendly face. Said, "Hey, you want a free fan wristband? They're giving them out inside later, but I got extras." I looked at it. Black silicone with the band's logo printed across it. Even had that little glossy seal that made it look official. I said, "Seriously? For free?" He grinned. "Yeah, just spreading the love." I should have said no, but I didn't. I took it, slipped it on my wrist. "Enjoy the show," he said, then melted back into the crowd. I didn't even tell my friends. It felt like such a nothing moment. A nice surprise. We got inside maybe 15 minutes later. The opener had just finished. The lights were still up. People were squeezing toward the front. We found a spot near the barricade, right edge of the stage. That's when I started feeling it. It wasn't sudden. More like a slow unraveling. First, I felt warm. Not like concert warm, internal warm. Like something buzzing under my skin. Then the floor started to shift. Just a little. Like it had waves in it. I blinked hard. Took a sip of water. Thought maybe I was dehydrated or just excited. But then the lights started streaking, trails dragging behind them. My friend asked if I was okay. I tried to say yes, but my mouth didn't work right. My heart was hammering. The music hadn't even started and my ears were ringing. I grabbed the barricade, holding myself up, and then, black. I don't remember collapsing. The next thing I knew, I was on the ground backstage, blinking up at an industrial ceiling with paramedics around me. I couldn't move, could barely breathe. They asked my name, my birthday. I couldn't answer either. They rushed me to the ER. I don't remember the ride. What I do remember, clear as anything, is the nurse holding up a little plastic baggie. Inside was my wristband, the same one I'd slipped on outside, the one that had felt harmless. Cool, even. She said, "Did you know this was laced?" I blinked. What? She pointed to the inside of the band, the adhesive lining. They dosed the sticky part, absorbed straight through the skin. Classic transdermal delivery. That's why it hit you so fast. I stared at it, at my own wrist. I hadn't even noticed anything. No rash, no sting, nothing. They ran blood tests. Something was in my system. Something lab-made. Not recreational. Not even street level. They never told me the exact name, just said it was a sedative compound with hallucinogenic properties. Strong, fast-acting, and dangerous. Could have killed me. The cops came later that night. They asked what I remembered. I told them about the guy, the wristband, what he looked like. They nodded, said I wasn't the only one, that 3 other people at different venues in the last 2 months had been found unconscious with the same wristband. But none of those venues had official merch like that. No one could ID the guy, no surveillance, no transactions, just a smiling face in a crowd, handing out death. That night, I couldn't sleep. My body felt like it wasn't mine. My hands twitched. My vision wouldn't settle. Every time I blinked, I saw the guy's face. Not even scary. Just ordinary. The kind of face you don't question. That's what scared me the most. Weeks later, I still catch myself looking twice at wristbands. I flinch when people hand me anything in crowds. Stickers, samples, flyers. Doesn't matter. Because now I know. People you don't always have to be chased to get hurt. Sometimes all it takes is a smile, a wristband, and 3 seconds of trust. You ever walk into a moment that wasn't meant for you? Like, really wasn't meant for you? That's what this felt like. 1 minute, I was at a concert with friends, buzzing from cheap vodka and adrenaline. The next, I was standing in the venue bathroom with a girl crouched on the floor, crying so hard it sounded like choking. It was halfway through the second set. Some local band we barely knew, but danced to anyway. I told my friends I had to pee and ducked into the bathroom just off the side hallway. Not the main one by concessions. This one was smaller, dimmer, quieter. There were only 3 stalls. 2 closed. 1 open, and her. She was sitting on the floor with her back to the wall, knees pulled up, heels off. Her makeup was wrecked, foundation streaked, lipstick smudged halfway down her chin. Her dress, this tight, glittery red thing, was torn at the strap, one sleeve hanging limp. I froze in the doorway. "Hey," I said, cautious. "You okay?" She didn't answer, just kept sobbing, shoulders shaking. I glanced around. No one else was in there. I stepped closer. "Do you need help? Should I call someone?" That's when she looked up, eyes wide, bloodshot, pupils blown, and she grabbed my wrist like she was drowning. Her voice cracked. "Don't go back out there." I blinked. "What?" She leaned in, whispering, her grip tightening. He's still in the crowd. I stared at her, the sink faucet dripping, the dim overhead light flickering. It was like something out of a movie. She didn't say anything else, just kept crying. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. No service. I held it up, checked the bars. Nothing. She flinched when I moved. "Look," I said gently. "I can get help. Security, an ambulance, whatever you need." She shook her head, hard. "He'll see." "Who?" She didn't answer. I crouched next to her. "What's your name?" "Nothing." "Can I get your friends?" Still nothing. Then she said, barely audible, "He told me no one would believe me." I looked down. Her wrist had deep red marks, like someone grabbed her too hard. Nails, maybe. I felt my stomach twist. "I believe you," I whispered. She looked at me, like she wanted to believe it too. I stood up and said, "Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just getting security. Don't move." But she grabbed my ankle. "Please, just don't go out that door." She pointed to the hallway I came from, the main route back to the floor. "Go around," she said. "Use the kitchen exit. Just don't let him see you." Now, I don't know why I listened. Maybe it was her eyes, maybe the bruises. But I nodded, slipped out the back entrance, and snuck through the staff corridor. It opened near the bar. Crowd was still swaying, music pounding, lights strobing overhead. Everything looked normal. But then I scanned the room. There was a man near the stage, late 30s, maybe older, wearing a denim jacket and a stiff smile. He wasn't dancing, wasn't looking at the band. He was watching the hallway, the one I had just not come out of. His neck craned every time someone walked by. I watched him. He checked his phone, looked up, checked again, like he was waiting. I ducked behind a speaker stack, heart racing. The girl was right. He was still out here, and he was looking for her. I spotted a security guard near the fire exit and practically ran to him. "There's a girl in the bathroom," I said, trying to sound calm. "She's hurt. I think she was attacked. That got his attention. He called it in, grabbed his radio. I led him and another guy through the kitchen entrance to the side bathroom. But when we got there, she was gone. No trace. No sobbing. No shoes. No torn dress on the floor. Just a slow dripping faucet and an empty room. My heart dropped. I explained everything, what she said, how she looked. The guards exchanged glances and one of them nodded slowly. "Can you describe her?" he asked. I did, as best I could. He hesitated, then said, "We've had reports like this before. From this bathroom. Same hallway, same girl." I stared at him. "Wait, what?" He exhaled. "Always between the second and third set. Always gone when we get there, and always warns someone." I laughed. It was reflexive. "You're telling me she's a ghost?" He didn't laugh back. "She's real," I insisted. She grabbed me. He shrugged. "Maybe, maybe not, but you're not the first to see her." I didn't believe it. Not at first. But that night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. The bruises, the dress, the way she said, "He's still in the crowd." So the next day, I did what anyone would do. I Googled. Venue name, assault, missing person, red dress, bathroom hallway, and there it was. A news article from 3 years ago. Young woman found unresponsive in music venue bathroom after alleged assault. Suspect never caught. The picture, it was her. Same face, same makeup, same damn dress. And the worst part? The article ended with, "Security found the woman alone." She died later that night in the hospital. Witnesses say she was last seen dancing with a man in a denim jacket. That was 3 years ago. And I think she's still there. Still warning anyone who'll listen. It was one of those nights that already felt too good to be real. We got wristbands at the last minute. Managed to squeeze into the crowd right as the opener wrapped. Somehow ended up near the front by the end of the set. Sweaty, euphoric, yelling lyrics with strangers like we'd known each other our whole lives. The band took their final bow, and the lights came up slow. Everyone was buzzing, arms around each other, flushed with adrenaline and beer. And that's when I got the card. It was handed to me as I was pushing through the exit tunnel. Just a black rectangle, matte finish, thick paper. No logo, no branding, just bold white text. After party, VIP only, secret location. And a QR code. That's it. I looked around. A few other people had them. Not many. Maybe 10 max. One girl squealed, "OMG, we got invited." Another guy said, "Must be for superfans or something." It didn't feel like a promo thing. No booth, no representative. Just this tall guy in a black jacket silently handing them out. I scanned the code. It took me to a bare-bones webpage with a single line of text. "Your invite has been accepted. Arrive within 45 minutes. Underneath, a map pin. 15 minutes away, industrial zone. No name, just coordinates." I stared at it. My friends were already walking toward the rideshare zone, laughing, shouting about getting food. I hesitated. Something felt off. I mean, I'd been to after-parties before. Usually they're at bars, lounges, house parties if you're lucky. But a warehouse? Still, curiosity itched at me. The way that card appeared out of nowhere. The way only a few people seemed to get one. I told my friends I'd meet them later. Called a car. 10 minutes later, I was pulling down this desolate strip of warehouses and broken streetlights. The kind of area that looks abandoned at night, even if it isn't. The address led me to a wide lot with one building at the back. No signs, no lights. Just a single red bulb glowing above a steel door. And a man standing under it. I stepped out, heart pounding louder than the music still ringing in my ears. He was tall, clean-shaven, no expression. His hands folded in front of him like a doorman, but not the velvet rope type. The, "I decide what happens here" type. He looked me up and down, then said, "Phone off. You go in, you don't come out until we say." Just like that. No welcome, no vibe, no, "Hey, free drinks inside." I laughed nervously. "Is this like a VIP immersive experience thing?" He didn't answer. Just repeated, Phone's off. I looked past him. The red light barely illuminated the door. I couldn't hear music. No bass. No voices. No chatter. Just a heavy silence. Like the building itself was holding its breath. My skin prickled. Instinct screamed. I stepped back. Actually, I think I'm good. He didn't argue. Didn't try to stop me. Just nodded once. Slow. Like he was disappointed, not surprised. I walked away fast, heart racing, forcing myself not to look back. My phone buzzed in my pocket. One of my friends texting, asking where I was. I never replied. I didn't sleep that night. My brain kept cycling. What if it was legit? What if I missed something incredible? But deeper down, something colder whispered. What if it wasn't a party at all? The next morning, I checked the QR code again. The site was gone. Link dead. Server not found. I Googled the address. Nothing. No party, no event, no mention of anything happening there that night. I searched forums, hashtags, Twitter. Nobody posted about it. No stories, no photos. It's like it never happened. But I know what I saw. The card was real. The man was real. And when he said, "You don't come out until we say," he meant it. Sometimes I wonder if anyone went in. If anyone never came out. I still have the card. It sits in my desk drawer, tucked under a stack of receipts and forgotten concert stubs. I keep it as a reminder that not every invitation is meant to be accepted, and sometimes walking away is the only reason you're still here. We went as a group of 4. Me, Hannah, Jess, and my best friend Alina. We'd been planning it for months. Front row for one of our favorite bands at a mid-size venue downtown. GA standing room, sold out weeks in advance. We'd gotten in early, grabbed our spot dead center by the barricade, and swore we wouldn't separate for anything. And for most of the night, we didn't. We danced, screamed lyrics, jumped until our knees gave out. The kind of night that makes you forget everything else for a while. Alina and I shared everything. My water bottle, my gum, even my phone, since hers had died an hour in. I kept it in my bag for safekeeping. That part still gets me, because when everything went wrong, her phone was still zipped inside. It happened during the Encore. You know how bands sometimes turn off all the lights before that final song? Let the crowd scream, build that suspense? Yeah, that moment. Everything went dark. People waved their phones. Someone threw a bra on stage. We laughed. Someone behind us shouted that they loved everyone. I remember turning to Alina. Or, I thought I did. Because when the lights came back up, she wasn't there. At first, I assumed she ducked down, tied her shoe, got pushed back a step. I looked behind me, then to the side. I called her name. Nothing. I pushed through the people behind us, just a few rows deep. No one had seen anything. Jess thought maybe she ran to the bathroom, but her phone was still in my bag. She wouldn't have gone alone, not without saying something. I told myself not to panic. Maybe she dropped something. Maybe she was trying to get a better view. I mean, we were right at the front. There were staff nearby, barricades, cameras. This wasn't a back alley. It was a packed, sweaty venue with 1,200 people and 2 exits. So where the hell did she go? The show ended minutes later. I waited, kept scanning the crowd. Even asked a security guard to let me peek behind the stage, thinking maybe she'd gotten pulled out for passing out or something. Nothing. I showed them her photo. They hadn't seen her. We waited outside, told ourselves she probably got swept up and went around the back exit by mistake. I texted her, even though her phone was still on me. Still nothing. At 1:07 a.m., I went to the front desk, reported her missing. The staff started sweeping the venue. Bathrooms, side rooms, outside lots, staff-only corridors. They made an announcement over the speakers. Still nothing. One of the guards asked if she maybe left with someone. I said no. She would have told me. She wouldn't just leave. Another one asked if she had a habit of disappearing when she drank. I snapped. She'd had 1 drink. We were sober, alert, together the entire night. Except when the lights went out. It wasn't until 2:12 a.m. that the venue officially called it in. A missing person. They pulled the footage. There was video of us walking in, laughing. Alina with her arm around my shoulders, in line for merchandise, dancing during the opener, sharing my drink. But during the encore, when the lights went dark, there was static. A full 47-second glitch in the front floor cameras. They blamed it on equipment interference from the light show. And when the feed resumed, she was gone. No one saw her leave. No one saw anyone pull her away. No struggle. No scream. Just gone. Like she blinked out of existence. I gave the police everything. What she was wearing, who she was with, every text she sent before her phone died. They dusted the venue, pulled badge scans, rechecked exits. But there was nothing to follow. Nothing but a zipped compartment in my bag, with her phone still inside. The case went cold in 3 weeks. That's what they say. Cold. Like the world just stops looking. Like it freezes at the edge of where she used to be and won't cross further. But I never stopped. I started going to other shows, same venue, same layout. Watching the crowd. Watching the lights. One night I brought a photo of her. Asked random girls in line if they'd ever seen her before. One girl paused, said, "She looks familiar. Did she go missing here?" I nodded. She said, "Was it during the encore?" I said yes. Her face changed. She said, "That's when my friend blacked out. She was fine all night, then gone for a minute. Found her in the hallway with a busted lip and no memory." Same venue, same hallway. And then she said something I'll never forget. There was a guy, bald, big coat, just standing by the side doors, like he was waiting for the lights to go out. I asked if she told security. She said yeah, but they didn't find anyone matching that description. No cameras pointed that way, nothing recorded. Same as us. That was last year. I still have Alina's phone. I can't bring myself to turn it on, because every now and then, it vibrates. No number. No missed call, just a faint buzz. Like a ghost of a notification. Like she's still somewhere in the signal. I don't know what happened in those 47 seconds. I don't know who was in the crowd with us. All I know is this. We went as a group of 4. We stuck together the whole show. And when the lights came back up, I was the only one holding her phone. I'd been to dozens of concerts. Big names, local bands, packed arenas, intimate venues. But I'd never been to one where everything stopped mid-song and never restarted, where the show ended in silence. The scariest part wasn't the music, but what happened after it stopped. It was a Friday night, small venue, probably 600 heads max, standing room only, sweaty, chaotic, perfect. The energy was unreal. The band had just dropped a new album, and this was one of their first shows back on tour. It felt big. I was maybe 4 rows from the stage, not close enough to touch it, but close enough to see the spit fly when the lead singer screamed. We were halfway through the set when it happened. The song was building, this wild, fast-paced track that always made the floor shake. The lights were strobing like crazy, the pit was surging, and people were screaming every word. Then the singer stopped. Mid-line. Just stopped. He blinked, took a step back, looked off stage. We all hesitated. Like, was this part of it? A pause for dramatic effect? Then the mic cut. No static, no distortion. Just off. The lights dimmed, not out. Just enough to make everything feel wrong. At first, the crowd didn't react. We laughed, clapped. Some people kept singing, thinking it was a glitch. Then we heard it. Screaming. But not us. Not fans. It was coming from backstage. High-pitched. Real. Not part of the act. The singer dropped the mic and ran off. No wave, no nod. Just gone. A beat of silence. Then chaos. Security started rushing in from both sides of the stage. At least 5 of them. They weren't jogging. They were sprinting. Full speed toward the far left exit door near the speaker stack. People started shouting. Phones came out. Some thought it was a fight. Some thought it was a fire. I thought it was part of the show, until I saw the man. He was in all black, standing just past the curtain line, right where backstage meets the crowd. He wasn't looking at us. He was watching something deeper in, and he had something in his hand, something long, metallic. Then security tackled him. Hard. One guy went for the knees. 2 more hit his shoulders. The object flew from his hand and skidded across the floor. And that's when the screaming really started. People near the front saw it, realized what it was. A knife, a long one, sharp enough to reflect light. The rest of the crowd still didn't understand. Some people were laughing, others filming. A few guys near me shouted, "Damn, this show's wild!" like they were watching a stunt. Then came the overhead announcement. "Attention, please exit the venue in a calm and orderly fashion. The show has been canceled. The band never came back out. The lights never turned back on." No one explained anything. We were herded out slowly like cattle, past flashing cop lights and paramedics just arriving. Some people kept asking, "Was that real?" I didn't talk. I couldn't. I just kept seeing that split second, the look on the singer's face. Not shock, not fear, just recognition. Like he saw something, or someone he already knew was coming. I didn't find out the full story until the next morning. It was buried deep in a local news site. No big headlines, no national coverage. Just this: concert evacuation after attempted attack on musician foiled by venue security. According to the report, a man had snuck into the venue hours before the show, disguised as part of the road crew, slipped in with a real badge, real gear, waited until halfway through the show to make his move. They said he had a target, not a random act, not a chaotic outburst, a plan. The singer. No one said why. No motive released, no connection made public. Just that the knife was real, the intent was real, and the person tackled was someone known to the band. That detail never left me. Because now, every time I'm at a show and someone stares too long at the side door, every time a mic glitches, or a light flickers, or a singer pauses too long between songs, I remember the way his voice just cut off. I remember the screaming from behind the curtain, and I remember thinking, we cheer for these people like they're untouchable, but when the lights go down, there's nothing stopping the darkness from stepping in. I should have trusted my gut the second I saw the argument. But when you're packed into a crowd of 800 people, bass rattling your ribs, and lights stroking your face like electricity, it's easy to write things off. We were about halfway through the set. Second band of the night. Energy was peaking. Everyone around me was moving, sweating, shouting, living for the moment, but I wasn't watching the stage. I was watching the security guards near the side exit. 2 of them were arguing, like full body language shouting, even if I couldn't hear them over the music. One kept pointing at the door, jabbing his finger like it owed him money. Then, I saw a girl try to leave. She looked frustrated. Shook the door handle, knocked, nothing. She waved one of the guards over. He ignored her. I tapped my friend and said, "Why is the exit locked?" He just shrugged, said, "Maybe it's for crowd control." I tried to let it go, told myself I was being dramatic. But then the fire alarm went off. It was this shrill, piercing tone that cut through everything. The band stopped mid-song. People started glancing around, confused. Some laughed, thought it was a prank, part of the act. Then the smoke started. It didn't rise from the crowd or crawl from the corners. It poured, thick and sudden, from the stage rigging, like someone had flipped a switch on a fog machine dialed to hell. Within seconds, the stage lights vanished into a wall of gray. People screamed. At first, it was chaos light. Confused shouting, elbows, pushing, the way crowds always react when something breaks the rhythm. Then someone yelled, "It's real!" That's when panic ignited. People started running for the exits, all of them. But none of them opened. I got to the left exit first, the one I saw earlier. The handle didn't budge. I yanked, slammed my shoulder into it. The door rattled, but didn't give. "Move!" Someone screamed behind me. I turned, just in time to see someone slam a metal barricade into the door. Nothing. It was chained. From the outside, we scattered, fanned out. People clawed at every visible door. None opened. I ran to the front where the entrance had been. Same thing. Double doors, both chained shut, padlocked, like someone had prepared for this. By now, the smoke was heavy, thick enough to sting your eyes. Some people dropped to the floor, others screamed for help. I heard someone cough so violently they started dry heaving. Security was nowhere. Gone. Disappeared. I don't know how long we were trapped. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Time fractured into pure survival. I started crawling, using the edge of the stage to guide me. My phone had no signal. No one's did. People were pounding on walls. Some started sobbing. Others panicked and started throwing chairs at windows. Nothing broke. And just when I thought it was over, when my throat burned and my lungs felt coated in ash, I heard it. Metal clanging. A door finally swinging open. Someone from outside shouting, "This way! Get out!" People surged, screamed. I got swept up in the movement, crushed between bodies clawing toward the sound. My feet barely touched the ground. I remember a girl next to me losing her shoe, a guy sobbing like a child, the slam of boots on concrete. We spilled out into the alley behind the building. Air never tasted so sweet. Some people dropped to the ground, coughing, wheezing. A few collapsed entirely. EMTs rushed in. Cops were already taping off the perimeter. Someone yelled, "They locked us in!" Another shouted, "We could have died!" They took statements, not just from us, but everyone. Phones were confiscated for review. The building was sealed. And the weirdest part? No fire. There was no electrical short, no pyrotechnic failure, no faulty fog machine, just thick manufactured smoke and doors that had been deliberately chained from the outside. The official story? Still under investigation. The unofficial one? Security walked out before the alarms even started. I still don't know what we were supposed to be a part of that night. A test? A trap? A statement? All I know is this. I've been to shows with mosh pits, collapsed fences, even a broken nose once. But nothing compares to the moment when you realize you're not allowed to leave.